Erlebnispark Tripsdrill is one of the German amusement parks I got a chance to visit while I was in Europe. And going in, I did not know much about this place at all. I knew they had Karacho, their Gerstlauer Infinity Coaster, and I'll have a full review of that coming at some point separately to my channel. But that was kinda it. I didn't really know what to expect. And I'll say I was pleasantly surprised. This is a pretty cool amusement park, and it kind of flew under my radar. So this is gonna be my full in-depth review, and for this I really want to kind of talk about some of the lesser known things about this place, some of the interesting experiences I had, and kind of unique features that you won't really find elsewhere because this place is unique. It is very European, I will just say that right off the bat. There are animatronics just on the main pathways. Like, you'll be walking around, then off to the side you'll see like some dude in an outhouse that spits at you. There's this like animatronic show with all these farm animals and they're like speaking German to each other, so of course I didn't understand what was going on. But there were like cows and pigs and like roosters all just kind of having this like conversation with each other on the main pathway. It was kind of awesome. It was different though. I'm sorry, I couldn't help but like laugh through the whole thing because it was kind of ridiculous. But hey, that's just Europe for you, I guess. Most parks, if you want to see animatronics, you have to ride some sort of ride. No, here you'll just see it as you're walking around. And that's all while you're walking around this heavily wooded park. There's so many trees in this place. Tripsdrill is beautiful. Probably, I would say, one of the top 5 most beautiful parks that we saw in Europe. And it was all just natural greenery. The front half of the park has so many trees, and then you get to the back half of the park, and it's this wide open green spaces with all these flowers and just tons of open room where you could like have a picnic there if you wanted. So yeah, Tripsdrill, a lot prettier than I was expecting. Some other neat things about like the park in general, there's a lot of like gravel paths here where they don't even have it paved. And that's not a good or a bad thing, I would say. It's just kind of an observation. One thing I really did like about Tripsdrill is that it was well themed. All of the flats have like really cool themes to them. We saw a classic kind of tilt-a-whirl style attraction themed to like baking bread. And there was a classic swing ride themed to what I guess was a giant mushroom. And of course the roller coaster, I mean, I would say Karacho and Mammoth didn't have as heavily themed as say like their Wild Mouse coaster, which kind of wrapped around this like gorgeous building. It looked like a castle. And that was also right next to their log flume, which the log flume is themed to bathtubs, and you'll just be riding along and there's like animatronic naked women in there like taking a bath. So there's that. Some notes of criticism, there weren't really a lot of places to eat in this park. Like, there weren't exactly a ton of restaurants or even just like shops in general. What Tripsdrill half the time felt like was like a state park. Like just a place where people would go to walk around on, and then there just happened to be rides there. So it didn't feel like a traditional amusement park where there was like a ton of midway games or food joints or gift shops. I mean, there were some. One of my favorite midway games I saw was this one where you could shoot eggs out of a chicken's butt and try and hit the target. That was one of the highlights of my day. And I just had one meal here. I wasn't like super impressed with it. I had this sandwich at this one place, which, just note, it actually didn't accept credit cards, which I think no matter where you're from, you should take note of that they only accepted cash. This was one of the few places in Europe where I saw that, where I couldn't use my credit card to pay for food there. So yeah, just heads up about that. Another thing that I would say helps make this park feel more like a state park instead of a theme park was there was this one section where there were these bikes that you could ride around in this area, but they weren't normal bikes. The wheels were ovals, not circles. So you kind of bounced as you rode. And it was kind of hard to ride these things around. You couldn't do it for very long before like your body kind of started hurting from doing it. I got off those things and I had to like stretch because my back was killing me. I had a kink in my neck. So it was something different. I'm not sure I would recommend it, but it was kind of amusing because it took us a minute to realize that all of the bikes had oval wheels. It wasn't just the one that we happened to have grabbed that was like a little off. It was all of them. One thing that I thought was really kind of cool, and this was something that we just did on the way out. We didn't even realize it was there, but towards the front left side of the park, there's a walkthrough attraction. And you'll actually find a few of these around Europe, like there's one at Toverland. You walk through and there's all these different, I don't want to say obstacles, but just like different fun things that you would walk through or walk on, and it was really amusing. It's something that you never see in America because there would be a lawsuit from someone getting injured. Too many people would hurt themselves and sue, but in Europe I guess they don't have a problem with it. So yeah, make sure to do that while you're at Tripsdrill. Really kind of fun. So to just kind of sum up my Tripsdrill experience, we actually only ended up spending a couple hours here. We were there for half the day. We split it with Holiday Park, which is about an hour away. That's the place with Expedition GeForce. And while I do kind of wish I had maybe a little bit more time at both parks, you can definitely do both in a day. Tripsdrill is not very big and neither is Holiday Park. I'm not sure I could have seen myself spending all day here. I could have probably spent like another hour, maybe 2 max. But like that was about it. The place is not that big. There's 4 roller coasters. You can knock them out pretty fast if it's not very busy. It was kind of heavy crowds while there, so like Caracho had the longest line and also the log flume, but most everything else was a walk-on. And if you go on a day where literally everything is a walk-on, you'll be able to get through this park pretty quickly. So I would say I recommend Tripsdrill. Caracho is a great ride, probably going to be the attraction that's going to make you want to go here the most. But the park itself is just like really different, especially if you're not from Germany and you're visiting here for the first time. You're going to be walking around, you're like, whoa, this place is weird. But in the best way. I don't mean weird as in this place sucks. Like, no, actually Tripsdrill is like really cool. So I recommend visiting here. I think it's worth your time, but I wouldn't plan on spending all day here. I think you could either do what we did and split it with Holiday Park, or just kind of lump in this place with like when you're driving from one destination to the next, something like that. But that's it for my review of Erlebnispark Tripsdrill in Germany. If you've been here, I'd love to hear if your experience was similar to mine, if you agree with my thoughts. Of course, be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. I have lots of more park reviews coming from different parks around Europe and America. Be sure to stay tuned for those. And of course, you can check out past reviews I've done. They're all available on my channel. And I'll catch you guys next time.